We are gearing up for one of my favorite annual traditions that happens here in New Jersey. We're getting ready, if you can believe it, for the 82nd annual Congressional Dinner, which is put together by the New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce, and they call it the Walk to Washington. And if you've ever been on this really special event, you know I'm talking about. It's a great time. Back with me this morning on the Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline, President and CEO of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. Always great to catch up with Tom Bracken. Tom, good morning. It's Bert Barron. How are you today?
I'm great, Bert. Thanks for having me.
Hard to believe we're just a week away from the annual train trip to Washington and the 82nd Congressional Dinner, and confirm that Governor Murphy will be joining us and he'll be in attendance next week. Is that right?
He will be our keynote speaker, yes.
Always great. And for anyone who's never been on this trip, Tom, or maybe they haven't, everyone always asks me, well, why is it called the Walk to Washington when you're riding a train? It's got a special reason. You want to just explain what it's like to be on the train from New Jersey to Washington on that day?
Sure. You have somewhere around 800 people or in that neighborhood on a train of 14 or 15 cars, and people walk the train to network with people up and down the train for the 3+ hours that we're on the tracks from Newark to Washington. So you're going to Washington by train, but you're walking up and down the train car to make friends and make acquaintances and make connections.
I always get my steps in for the day when I'm walking up and down in the train, Tom, and I always make a point to go from the first car to the last car and meet and say hello to as many people as I can, because there's local elected officials, there's county officials, we'll have assembly people, we'll have senators on there, we'll have business leaders, much like yourself, and other business people that are really running the big companies and big decision makers here in New Jersey that you have a chance to just walk up to and introduce yourself and say hello. And Tom, I can't tell you how many great relationships I've made, and people to this day are contributors to this show, and guests on this show are people that I've met on this train ride that I've been taking for years and years. So it has paid off for me in ways that I can never possibly imagine, and I'm sure it's done the same for a lot of people.
Yeah, it has, Bert, and you're absolutely right. You're going to meet many people that you've probably read about and heard speak, but have never had the opportunity to meet. You're going to be able to talk to them, and that's the whole beauty of the train, is to be able to talk face-to-face with people, get to know them, maybe set up appointments to see them afterwards. It's a very unique experience, and for the third year in a row, we will have Cardinal Tobin on the train. So not many times do you have a sitting cardinal amongst your guests on the train, but we will have the cardinal on the train. He loves the train. He loves talking to people, and anybody who's going on the train should make an effort to go talk to him, because he's just a phenomenal person.
Oh, no question about it. And, of course, the train is just kind of the start of the festivities. Once you walk on the train and you meet countless of people, and if you think you have enough business cards, let me just tell you, as a guy who's been on the train, bring double the amount that you normally do, because you will power through all your business cards. The real networking and the real kind of getting to know people continues when we get to the Marriott Wardman Park Hotel in Washington. There's opportunities to network and gather there. And then, of course, the big state dinner that happens, and you heard Tom say that Governor Murphy will give the keynote speech. There's more networking afterwards. We stay overnight. There's a breakfast and more opportunities to meet people. And then the train comes back to Jersey, and it's Friday, and you kind of come back and finish up some work and get ready for the weekend. Still opportunities, Tom, if someone wants to join us on the train, right? How do they go about doing that?
Well, they can access the train through our website, which is the way most people do it. They can call the chamber, and we can set it up over the phone. Any number of ways to sign up. There's still opportunities to participate. And you're right, Bert, when you talk about it doesn't end with the train, because the Wardman Marriott event, the dinner, the receptions afterwards, the next morning when we have the reporters roundtable discussion about what's going on in the state, and then the ride back. It's really 36 hours of very, very concentrated networking, and again, with people that you probably have never met before and wanted to meet. It's a very unique event. We're told that it's the biggest networking event in the country. I don't know if that's true, but we like to say that because somebody told us that. But it is definitely an event that you should experience and see for yourselves if it's beneficial to you and your company.
Hey, I'd go for that. As a guy who's been on this, Tom, I would say this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest in the country. I kind of like that notoriety there and that distinction. That's good. But
sounds good.
Let's remind people too that it's fun too. Not only is it great business networking and meeting people, you get to have fun. You know, it's an opportunity to have some fun with people and make some new friends and have some fun while you're at it too. So, but it's really just a great thing. Do be part of it. And it's so cool, Tom, to say, well, I'll be in Washington having dinner with the governor on Thursday night. It's always cool that you can say that to people as well.
Governor and our congressional delegation will be there, and many of our New Jersey legislators will be there. Part of the governor's staff will be there. It's a packed event with the people that really make things happen in New Jersey, and that's the uniqueness of it.
Yeah, and it's really a great time. So I urge everybody to get to njchamber.com and join us for the trip, which is really going to be just second to none this year. Tom, I know you keep a close eye with your work with the New Jersey Chamber of things that are happening in Trenton, and a lot of things have been happening in this year plus that we've had Governor Murphy at the helm there. The one thing that seems like gets a lot of chatter and a lot of discussion statewide is this implemented now of the increase of the state minimum wage to $15 an hour over a period of years. What are you hearing statewide from our chamber members and you also being involved in the business community here in New Jersey? What's your take and what are you hearing from business owners, people who are now going to be paying this and people who are now going to be earning this new minimum wage? What are you kind of hearing statewide about this?
The final bill, Bert, was a little more onerous than we would have liked in many contexts. The time frame over which the $15 is reached was shorter than we wanted. There were many industries that should have been exempt that weren't. They do get an extended pay a period to get to the $15, but they weren't exempted. The definition of a small business, which is now 6 people or less, is just absurd in our estimation because that is just ridiculous compared to the fact that the Small Business Administration defines a small business as somebody with employees of 100 and under. That's a very punitive thing that we fought against. And there's no opt-out, which means that if the economy is soft and the mandated increases just don't work because of the soft economy, there's currently no opportunity for the state to put a hold on the increases that have been passed, which would be kind of an intelligent thing to do if the economy just doesn't cooperate with us. So there's many parts of the bill that were disappointing to us. I know a lot of companies are trying to figure out how to deal with it. There's going to be some pain. There's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be resulting layoffs, hours cut back, benefits cut back to employees, prices increased. There's just a lot of unintended consequences to this, Bert, that were really not well thought out. But, it's there. It's a law. It's in place. And people have to find a way to deal with it. And we're trying to help them any way we can. But it's hard to help anything that is in the face of a law that is passed.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, among other things, are going to be very hot topics of discussion on the train and at the hotel in Washington and as time kind of moves on, too. But this is a great time, of course, to get involved with the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce, njchamber.com. In addition to this great train trip that is coming up, it's really just year-long events, and it's one of the most active, and I got to say, one of the most fun chambers to belong to because the networking opportunities that you have here, it's everywhere from the Jersey Shore to South Jersey to the great cities in North Jersey. You really get a chance to statewide kind of spread your wings and really meet some great people. So njchamber.com for all the information. And Tom Bracken, I can't thank you enough, President and CEO of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for the time this morning and see you on the train and see you in D.C. next week, my friend. All right?
Look forward to it, Bert.